pictures of Tanap, Sunfire, and Tolek, please?
For reasons of protection of my privacy, my family's privacy, and safety and security, I am not currently releasing photos of myself online or to anyone else privately. This is not exactly a safe job.
Yeah, same here. And I know Tolek is the same way. I have enough people constantly trying to kill me day in and day out. I don't want to add to the list.
Is it at all possible that you are working in the Silver Legion or other groups while you sleep, and when you are awake, you have no knowledge of it?
Yes, it's entirely possible. I actually did the bulk of my early participation in this way because there's just too much activity for me to bring through, right? There are a lot of people who are, I guess you could almost call them like sleeper agents, literally. We have a couple thousand human incarnates. Not all of them are aware of who they are and what they're doing. It's on that subject, though, it's not up to me to say whether a given individual is a Silver Legionnaire. It is never up to an external person or entity or anything else to define your identity for you. That is always your job. It is unethical for somebody else to try to do this. Anybody who's doing this is acting inappropriately. They could be wrong. They could be deliberately lying to you. They could maybe just not have the whole story. And this can actually, this can interfere with your own personal exploration of yourself and of your identity. So I recommend to people, make your own identity. It's in your hands. It's up to you. You get to decide who you are and what you are, not somebody else. If you want to know if you're already a Silver Legionnaire, well, one of the things I tell people is ask yourself, does this feel to you like people you know? Does this feel familiar? Does this feel like something, do you get an immediate sense of, oh, wow, that's me, I do that, that's us? If you get that sense of belonging, then you're likely a Silver Legionnaire already. I'm not going to be able to remember you because I just simply don't have the bandwidth for that kind of information transfer right now. But and it's not up to me to tell you whether or not you're a Silver Legionnaire anyway. I won't claim you if you're not mine, so to speak. It'd be inappropriate for me to try, nor am I going to tell you that you're not a Silver Legionnaire because I don't know that for sure. With my bandwidth, I can't really tell. So it's really up to you as an individual. Okay. If you feel like you belong, if you get that immediate sense of, wow, that's me, that's us, chances are you're one of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, they would, the groups, and it's not just the A's, it's many other groups, they wouldn't want it any other way because that they have to do it this way in order for humanity to be invested in the future of humanity. Okay? It's just, I believe we're behind schedule here. We're a little bit behind schedule. Mm-hmm. But absolutely, that's exactly how it's going to be. Now, there are clusters, there are star groups or soul groups of people who come from different places. I mean, you know, your soul wasn't created on Earth. This is not your first lifetime in physicality. No one here. You know, you choose your level of consciousness to come in here and have an experience. That's just what it is, and no denial will ever change that. It's just people have chosen a specific path, a group of lessons, experiences, etc., and that's what it is, and that's how it's going to work. So yes, people, as this thing progresses, and however that's going to be, yeah, people will be given an opportunity to do that. Absolutely, it won't happen any other way. You know, those who know, you know, they can teach what they know. If you just read it in a book, you can't. You know, you only know about it. That's how it works. The way money was set up was set up as a control mechanism here, or a medium of exchange. It lost its fairness to do good a long time ago, at least on the big picture. It's, you know, now it's all about creating debt, which is control. Now, is an economic collapse? I mean, I hear about it as well. I also hear about the new currency system that's coming in. I think there's a lot of truth to both of those things. I believe there is a new system coming in that's asset-backed, and I believe the fiat currency system is going away, and it has to because it's not real. I think as humanity evolves consciously, we will begin to realize we don't need money, that money is not necessary for us to live with each other or together, that we will create another way that doesn't give someone else control over our everyday life. Because as it is now, through governments, through banks, they've basically got a control on everything we do, and they're doing their best to outlaw everyday life. Everything we do could be a crime, and for what? Why do something like this? And it's all about control. There's a million ways to do that, to connect to the earth, by being quiet, by being still, by actually just engaging, in whatever method that you choose to do. If you engage and connect to your soul, you will automatically connect to her, because there's a symbiotic relationship. We're all connected anyway. It's just not focusing on the noise, the white noise. Instead, it's focusing on what you feel, how you feel, wanting joy. You just have to want to do it. Just ask yourself. Yourself already knows most of the answers. Most of us just don't listen. We're listening to our subconscious all the time, and all it's paying attention to is the white noise, because that's what it's vibrating to. We need to, raise our vibrations and start tuning into a resonance that brings us joy, that allows us the space to focus on what we want, not on what we don't want. Or they all understand that the earth is a living being, even the regressives, okay, and AI, they understand that. They can't truly identify because they don't have soul, but they do realize that it's a consciousness. What they do is they try to tweak it. They try to tweak it to fit their mold, their agenda, by doing things to it, suppressing the energy, or trying to harm it in some way, so that it will respond to what their wishes are. That's how it works.
When all the spaceships can land on Earth, and a lot of Earth humans will need a lot of medical treatment, how do we distinguish between the genuine healing machines and the ascension chambers that Cobra and the Galactic Federation of Light have talked about?
Well, I'd recommend insisting on an actual healer rather than a machine.
Well, that, and we're in the process of, and will be seeing to it, to the best of our ability, that they don't get the opportunity to set those chambers up.
What exactly will these ascension chambers do to Earth humans if we use one?
Oh, heck, if you use one of those ascension chambers, if you get tricked into one of those, you can basically kiss your butt goodbye. You are a slave if you do that. Do not do that.
There is this one, I remember there was this one event that Alex Collier talked about where one of the cigar-shaped ships was captured just outside of Jupiter by Talsetian, and I believe it was Talsetian and Arcturian military fleet, and they found over 100,000 boxes, miniature boxes, that had souls in them. That's what the ascension chambers do. They trap you in one of those boxes, and then those boxes are used to feed the grays, feed the reptoids, feed the hybrids. Yeah, kiss your ass goodbye if you get tricked into one of those. She's right.
Don't do it. Don't enter anything like that. You don't need a chamber to ascend. You don't need a machine to heal.
You don't need technology to do what you're capable of doing naturally.
The esoteric macabre is a spinning tetrahedron human energy field used as a light body vehicle. Is this a method of travel for those in higher dimensions?
No, that Merkaba that you've been taught is a ship is actually a prison. Yeah, because we think you're worth a heck of a lot more alive. Because you are a living being that has the potential to do anything. As a sandwich, you don't really got a lot of potential. Not to mention there's humanitarian reasons. It ain't fun being a sandwich. It ain't nice being a Reptoid snack. We'd rather see you alive.
I've seen a lot of criticism of how most groups aren't willing to give dates or prophecies. But the policy of not giving dates, is this due to preventing the negative forces from messing up that timeline?
Pretty much. You know, if you're going to announce to the world that you're going to do something on such and such a date, and you're in the middle of a war, well, you can expect that the people you're fighting against are going to do their best to mess up your plan on that day. It's just foolish to go running around announcing your game plan as you're going to the enemy.
And especially when it comes to cosmic events like the Ascension or, you know, some of the other things that are slotted to happen, even the best precogs and time spheres and everything else up there in the higher dimensions cannot accurately predict down to the day, time, hour, even week that a cosmic event is going to happen. The nature of the universe is that, you know, things like cosmic events just are not predictable in a manner and form in which those that, you know, things on a linear time scale can understand.
Yeah, you think of time as linear. You think of time as being composed up of seconds and minutes that go by in a regular measurable fashion, and on Earth that's possible. But it's not necessarily something that coincides with the rest of the universe. Now, you can think of this here as being on local time. A second to us might mean an hour to somebody else, and it might mean, you know, an hour to us might mean a second. There is no direct translation there between things. So trying to pin down a date on it, we think of this as being something that's going by in a very regular fashion. But the truth of the matter is there's no privileged observer when it comes to time. There's nobody who can stand and say, my time is right and all of yours is wrong. So it's really, really difficult to say, well, it's going to happen on this date at this time or whatever because of that shifting around and moving around of time. We don't have a linear time. We only perceive ourselves as having a linear time.
Yeah, exactly. Linear time was introduced to the planet as another form of control.
What I do know is that we all come from Creator. Okay, we all come from Creator. Our souls come from Creator. And at this particular time in my life, and I think many of you would agree, it doesn't make sense to have an intermediary. The church has planted itself in the middle of everything. And if you're familiar with the work of Santo Bonacci, where he talks about the three trusts that the Vatican created, where they not only own the earth, but they own us and they own our souls, that's a real problem for me. And it should be for everybody, because it's nothing more than a government. And I bring this up because things are escalating very quickly. And I know that there are many speakers out there, great speakers, intelligent speakers, speakers with the highest of intentions, who are sharing information that, you know, the war is over. That simply isn't true. The war is not over. It will not be over until the last one's gone, because they show no signs of surrendering.